Hey there, how's it going? This is Seth from REtipster.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Cozy to create an awesome, beautiful, and very useful property listing for your rental property if you're trying to find a new tenant and get that thing rented out. So just a quick overview on Cozy. This is pretty much the best software that I know of right now that is designed for like mom and pop landlords who are managing their own properties. And when you have a vacant rental property, say if one of them just happens to be empty, or maybe if you're moving into a new house and you're trying to rent out your old one for a while just to see how it goes, Cozy has some very useful and totally free advertising tools in here that can make it way easier for you to get your property seen by the masses and start finding not just any tenant, but the right tenant. And we'll get into that a little bit later. So first of all, REtipster.com does have an affiliate link to the Cozy website. It's right beneath this video. If you click on that, it'll take you here to this home page. If you want to get started, all you have to do is go and click on this button right here. And if this is your first time on the site, if you don't have an account yet, obviously you would have to create an account. So just put in your email address, say that you're a landlord, and continue to go through the prompts. I actually do have an account though, so I'm going to jump over to the dashboard in my account to just give you a quick tour on how this works when you're putting together a listing. And I'll show you just how easy it is to get this thing up and running. So when you log in, you're going to see the dashboard, and right off the bat, it's going to show you any and all properties that you already have in the system. So I have one property that I've already put in here. If you want to add a new property and start working on a new listing, go over here to this button and click on Listings. And if we want to create a new listing, we just have to click on this button. And the first thing this asks us is, which property is this for? And like I said, I do have one property in here, but I'm going to be adding a second one now. So we'll just go ahead and click on create a new property right there. And this is actually a duplex. So I'm going to say I manage multiple units at this property. Go ahead and put in the street address here. And we're going to call this first one Unit A. We'll click continue. And then property type. Again, this is a duplex. Number of bedrooms in this particular unit is 2 bedrooms, and then 1 full bathroom and 1 half bathroom. Square footage is 800 square feet, and then listing headline, similar to how you do on a website like Craigslist. You want to come up with some kind of a compelling title for your listing just so that kind of generates interest and draws people into it. And then for the description, I don't really put a lot more information in here, but just for the sake of this tutorial, just make it quick, and I'll paste this in here. And then we'll click continue. Okay, so now we're going to start specifying all the features and things that do or don't come with this property, just so that potential tenants and applicants can understand what this property is all about and what they're signing up for if they want to live here. So for pet policy, we're going to say pets are negotiable, a washer and dryer is available, there is parking and a garage, and on the street, and on a driveway. Hardwood floors, yes. Got a little bit of storage in this unit. There is a shared yard, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing else I can think of that's worth mentioning here, but obviously in your situation, if you've got something worth mentioning, go ahead and put it there. Click continue. And then for monthly rent, we're going to say 800. Security deposit is also 800. And then for the lease duration, we're going to say 12 months. And then when is it available? Well, this is a vacant unit, so we're going to say it's available now. We'll go ahead and click continue. Okay, so this is where we start to add the pictures. So I've got a few pictures here set aside just for this example. Go ahead and upload these. And once you got these in here, it's really easy to rearrange them, put them in the right order just by hitting these up and down arrows. I would usually put like the exterior as the primary picture, first thing people see. Something I really appreciate about Cozy, I don't know why more listing websites don't do this, but Cozy does support video tours. So I don't have a video tour for this particular property, but if you did, all you'd have to do is grab that YouTube link and paste it here. It looks like at the moment it only supports YouTube. So there's that. You can also add a brief caption to each one of these pictures if you want to say something special about each one. I'm not sure how beneficial it is to do that, but obviously if there's something in the picture that warrants an explanation, you can feel free to drop that in there. So once we got all that done, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step. Okay, now one of the primary values that Cozy brings to the table is through their tenant screening process, which is paid for entirely by the tenant, not by the landlord, and is very well designed, very easy to use for both parties. I've got a separate video that talks all about how these screening tools work, so I'll go ahead and link to that beneath this video and you can check that out as well. But when it comes to your listing, if you do want to require credit reports and background checks, which, personally, I don't know why you wouldn't, But, assuming you want to do that, you can go ahead and leave these boxes checked and then move on to the next step. Okay, so another thing you'll probably want to do is add your contact information down here, so you can turn that on if you want. Obviously, make sure you actually have an email and a phone put in there so it has something to show. Before this thing goes live, you can go ahead and preview it and just see what it's going to look like. And here we go. So, one important thing worth noting, it shows this giant header image in your listing. If your property is hideously ugly, which I don't know if I'd say mine's hideous, but it's not like the prettiest thing in the world, because it focuses so heavily on pictures, which is great. That's really what you want in a listing. But because that's such an important part of it, you want to make sure you actually have good pictures to put here, or your listing is not really going to look as good as it can. So for example, I've got this other property here. The picture is not amazing, but the property itself is just a little bit prettier. It has a tad more curb appeal, and you can see what I mean. It just kind of makes the listing look better overall. So there's that big header image. Then you can scroll down here, see more information. So you can click on these and you'll see these huge pictures that you can navigate through. Super helpful. And by the way, this is all optimized for mobile devices as well. So if you're looking at this on a phone or a tablet, it's going to look awesome. Continue to scroll down here, you'll see all the information that we put in there. See a nice little map so people can check out where it's located. And that's pretty much it. It's a pretty straightforward listing. It's very well designed. It's clean. It's pretty much everything you want to see in this kind of a service. And beyond just the aesthetic of it is the fact that currently, Cozy syndicates these listings with a couple huge websites out there. One of them is Realtor.com and the other one is Doorsteps.com. I haven't spent a lot of time here on Doorsteps, but I have been on Realtor many times over the years. And I just know it's a massive source of traffic. If we check out some of the stats just as of the time of this recording, yeah, it gets about 75 million monthly visitors. So obviously it's awesome if you can get exposure on this kind of a website. And to the best of my knowledge, Cozy is the only rental property listing service you can use that will give you MLS access to Realtor.com. So that's another notable thing worth mentioning. So really, it's not just about how easy Cozy is to work with and how good the listings look. It's also about the exposure it can get you. And even beyond that, when people start applying for your property, they can submit their information through Cozy. It comes right to you through this same platform. So you can really manage this whole process without ever leaving the site. It's not like I have to keep a listing up to date on Craigslist and on Zillow and on HotPads and then check random emails and text messages and phone calls. It's not like I get tons of different things that I have to keep an eye on and manage, because it's all right here. Like, it all flows through Cozy and it's super easy. So as soon as I want to make this thing go live, all I have to do is turn this thing on. And the cool thing is, once it's active, they'll give you this little short link that you can start sharing all over the place. You can throw it on all your social media profiles. You can email it to your list if you have one. You can email it directly to somebody who you know might be interested. They just make it really easy to get the word out and get people landing on your listing. Then if we go back here to this one, and let's make this one active too, just so I can show you something. So now we've got 2 properties active, and once you have more than one property online, you can set up something called a gallery, where it shows all of your properties in one place. So if you're starting to manage a lot of properties and build up your business that way, and you need like one central hub where all that information lies, instead of going and creating your own website and dealing with all the hassles that come with that territory, you can just use something like Cozy and just keep it all in one place. You can click on View Gallery, and then this is what it looks like. It shows a list of all your properties here. It's nothing crazy, but as you can see, it's super clean and super simple and easy to understand. People can click on this information and get whatever info they want about the properties you have on the market. And just to show you quick, when somebody clicks on that link and lands on your listing, this is what they're going to see. And it's very easy for them to go ahead and apply right on your listing. So they don't need to pick up the phone. They don't need to open up their email account and send you a separate email. They can do it right through the listing itself, and then it comes through your Cozy account. And then from there, you can communicate with them. You can start the application process. You can request credit reports and background checks from them. It's amazing how easy they've made it to do everything you have to do all in this one website. So super useful tool. And in the next video, we're going to start getting into what exactly does a new tenant have to do to apply to live in this property. What does it look like for them to go through that process? What happens when they submit the information? What does it look like on your end? How do you navigate through those steps of screening them and deciding whether or not you want to start a landlord-tenant relationship with them? And as you'll see when I show you, Cozy has done an awesome job of just making this a seamless, user-friendly process. And remember, let's not forget, it's free for you, the landlord. So, I mean, honestly, like, I don't know why you wouldn't use this. It's just such a great set of tools and just a great value proposition that they bring to the table. So, again, that's how you use Cozy to build listings. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.